Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews, where we just finished watching, well, yeah, pretty much just finished watching the new Tron Ares movie, which is, I believe, this is my impression, it's the sequel to the Tron movie that came out. Oh, shoot, I just went blank. When did that Tron movie come out?
Andrew's trying to signal to you that's the third
Isn't it?
Tron
Is it
movie.
not the? Is it not the third? Wasn't Tron Legacy a direct sequel?
Tron Legacy was a direct sequel. That's true. Um, 2010 was when Tron Legacy came out. Um, I think Tron Legacy was a direct sequel.
Yeah.
The original, it was, yes. Okay. It seems like they do another movie every 20 years almost. It's been so long since I've seen the first Tron, honestly.
I never have.
But yeah,
Neither
so
have
this
I.
is
So
the third installment for the Tron series. This is really hard because I really like the Tron series, but this movie was a very big disappointment for me. It just didn't feel like Tron. There wasn't enough Tron elements besides just referencing throughout this movie, and you get to see like the Tron bikes, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, the movie didn't feel like Tron except for the small like names of the companies, the organizations. Yes, they talk about the grid and they fight and have everything else like Tron, but it's just visually Tron. It's not actually story-wise like Tron in any of the other movies, or really the game. It just it was a disappointment because I don't really know how to put it. And you both haven't seen either of the other Tron movies?
I've seen Legacy, but
Legacy?
that was 2010.
That's fair. Payson?
no, I haven't seen any. I know of it and I know of the concept, like roughly the concept of it, but I've never seen them.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'd have to give this movie for it just being named Tron Ares, having that Tron name to it and being a part of the new installment for the Tron series. I'd give this movie a 4 out of 10. Um, it just wasn't a Tron movie in my opinion, besides the fact that it had all these references. And that's pretty much it.
As a complete novice, what do you on the Tron stuff? What do you mean when you say like it doesn't have
References.
all the Tron's
So
stuff other than it just
if you
shows it?
watch, yeah, if you watch the other two movies, I don't know much about the first one because it's been probably about, gosh, 20 years since I've seen it. Um, but in the other two movies, probably about 75 to 90% of the movie is in the grid,
Okay. And this one was mostly outside of the grid.
outside of the grid.
So kind of like
So
how
in those movies, you spend all your time in the grid, fighting, traveling in the grid, learning about what's the difference between human and the grid. Um, the first movie, I don't know much about it anymore. I completely forgot about it, to be perfectly honest. So I can't really explain off of it. But Legacy,
was that memorable?
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Legacy was a wonderful sequel to the first one. I do remember that, where it's the son of um, Kevin Flynn. He finds his dad's old workshop in the back of his arcade, gets sent into the grid, and has to find a way to get out of the grid. He finds his father and finds the um, um, shoot, what is it called?
Was it the thing that they had with a double helix?
Yeah,
The permanence
The
code.
The
permanence code?
permanence. Yes. So the permanence code in the second one wasn't really a thing. They just built AIs that already had the permanence code in them, so they were able to cross over. But before they were able to cross over, an uprising happened in the grid and destroyed pretty much all of those people that were able to go over. So it
Wait,
wasn't all of them, it was only a select few people made with that code already in them to be able to cross over.
so you're saying that in the second movie there were already AIs that had the permanence code that crossed over?
No, no one had crossed over yet. They were about to cross over and then they were all destroyed. So the permanence code wasn't actually a thing in the second one. He programmed them specifically with the code already in them to be able to cross over. So if you already programmed, you couldn't get the code, from what I understand, from the second movie.
Okay.
Um, so yes. Um, Also at the if you watched the af no at the end of the movie, yeah, I was at the end of the movie when Ares had the picture when he was writing the postcard.
Hmm.
The people in the picture was the son and the person who had the permanence code. I forget what they were called in the second movie. The only surviving one that had escaped with him.
Gotcha.
Um, but Other than that, the reason why I said this movie doesn't feel like Tron, obviously they spend most of their time outside of the grid, and it's mostly them sending people from the grid to the real world to do weird stuff. When honestly they would have caused so much more destruction with the lines and everything when they were on the bikes. So many people would have died. Um, it just didn't feel realistic in that aspect since it was no longer in the grid, it was in real life, which I was pretty sure they couldn't do that, as it was explained in the second movie, I believe. I don't remember, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, but it just didn't feel like a Tron movie besides it just referencing the first and the second movie and having like the same equipment and gear and everything else. Um, it just was name only, in my opinion, a Tron movie. Because Tron, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check. I think Tron is the name of, what was the name of, um, was Tron the name of the main character? I would have to double check that. So one of you else can go over and review while I double check that.
You want to go, Payson?
Sure I can, yeah. So I'm not even I had some questions about the permanence code, but it sounds more confusing than it needs to be. Just after talking a few minutes with Zach on that. So I feel like the more I would look into it, or the more I would ask, the angrier I would get with that and how that kind of doesn't make any sense with the universe. So I'm just not going to ask anymore.
Yes, so Tron is the main character in the first one. He's pretty much Ares, the um, command code of the original,
Mm,
and that's what it's named after. That's what I thought.
okay. So I think ironically enough, they did a good job with Jared Leto's lack of range because he was a good AI, kind of like how they did with Lord of the Rings with the Legolas actor Orlando Bloom and then Arwen's actress. The lack of range worked well with the elves, and it worked well here with the AI character. Um, one of the most disappointing things for me from this movie was definitely the villain. Like he was very charismatic, at least to me in the audience. He was very charismatic and likable as a villain. But when it came to that scene where the AI Athena, the new command code, kills his mom, like he does relatively nothing. Like he tries a few things and then doesn't do anything for the next, presumably, hour or half an hour to an hour, maybe even an hour and a half of the city coming down, knowing full well, like, okay, if I just shut everything down and then reboot the system, that might work. Like the guy doesn't do a thing. And it was either a moment of he either doubles down on like being a villain and is like, okay, yeah, she was getting in the way, go forward and just find this lady, or just like kind of doing a turning heel, not completely, but like trying to save his mom, trying to stop this because this has kind of gone way beyond the pale of just getting this lady and getting the beating her to the permanence code. So I think they dropped the ball in that aspect on the villain. Um, every other character just lacked charisma in this film. Like nothing meshed well. At least not. I mean, it could have done different for you guys, but for me, it was just nothing else meshed well. Like something they did something almost good with the villain, and then they dropped the ball at the end, and that's the thing that really pissed me off on this. But yeah, no, I'll have to. I was probably gonna go a 5 out of 10, but knowing just hearing some of the stuff from Zach, I'm gonna go ahead and just go 4. Like I feel like the more I would find out from the other Tron movies, the more pissed off I would get about the permanence code, how they treated some of the stuff on the back, how they treated some of the previous stuff. They obviously did give some nods. I got some to the older films. I think with the because I know it's still like the blue versus the red. That was a big. I remember seeing some. I believe that's a thing where it's the blue versus the red on the code, and there's the discs. They kept all that still in. For the old guy, is he in the first two movies? Flynn?
The old guy is Flynn's or Kevin Flynn's father, is the one who originally wrote the Tron code
Okay.
that went missing.
Where did he go missing?
He got trapped in the so for that, Kevin Flynn is I believe, hold on, I'm trying to get character names right. Is Kevin Flynn the one? What is okay? I'm trying to think. I don't want to. Is Kevin Flynn the son or the father? I can't. Kevin Flynn is the. Okay, Sam Flynn. I'm sorry. Sam Flynn is the son. Okay, so Sam is the main character in the second movie, which is the son. He gets trapped in the grid that his father made. Found out his father was trapped in his own grid by the clone he made of himself. So the clone, I think, I'm assuming that the guy that you see in this movie is the clone from the original grid, which is odd since I'm pretty sure they killed him in the second movie,
I think
but
it
I'm
would just be him, right?
100% sure. What?
Wouldn't that just be Kevin Flynn? He had a didn't he have a disc on his back similar to what the lady did at the
Yes, so whenever you go in the grid, you have a disk. Your disk is your identification card,
yeah, your
pretty much.
biological disc or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
everyone has it.
wouldn't that be his?
So Kevin Flynn made a clone of himself so that whenever he left the grid, the clone of himself would take control and control the city.
Okay.
But then when Kevin Flynn was trying to get the people he made with the permanence code out of the city to bring them to the real world, his clone got upset because he couldn't leave, pretty much. Destroyed the project, blew everyone up that was about to leave, and then destroyed the pathway for his father to leave, so he trapped him there. And that's why he disappeared.
Okay. So that's the father, not the clone.
That's no, that I is the clone. I believe the father died in the second movie as well. I believe that's the clone. I'm not 100% sure.
So is that another clone or is that this? Because you
I
said the
don't
clone
know.
also died in the second
I'd
movie.
have to rewatch the first. Well, I'd have to watch the first movie because I don't remember much of it at all. Um, Legacy, I remember the premise, but I don't remember like the fine details such as that. I don't remember if the clone died or if he changed at the end.
This
Uh,
already sounds convoluted as heck, but
that, Not specifically. The second movie is a really good watch. I would recommend it. The first movie, I don't remember enough about it to be able to like go into great detail of it. And then this movie was just slow and disappointing. It didn't actually start picking up until like an hour into the movie,
yeah.
and that's when you finally got into the grid, and then you were only there for about 10 minutes, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah, for
Uh,
something being so or what thinking that being action packed, it wasn't as much action packed as
Even
I
with
was
the
thinking it was gonna
fighting,
be.
like they make Ares look like this giant, like unstoppable force when they're programming him to train him. And then during that last fight with Athena and the two people, he just gets. I understand at that point he's human. I say, um, weirdly. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of
but
things that just don't get answered.
yeah, he should still have the same skills to be able to fight back, and he would have been able to just absolutely destroy them. But I don't know. Um, yeah, there's a lot that I'm just not that interested in this movie. It was just a disappointment on my end, but I give the floor back to you two.
Yeah, no, I was just saying it was disappointing. So I didn't think it was that good or that
I will
bad,
say,
but
yeah, I will
the
say
more I hear from you, the more I'm
the
like,
acting in it was they did a pretty good job acting. And the soundtrack was good. It was just the writing for it was just very disappointing in my opinion.
yeah,
That was its biggest downfall. I did enjoy at some times and other times it was infuriating when they digitized the voices, kind of to kind of segregate that they were in the grid and not in the grid, or they were programs and not humans. At some points I liked it, and at other points it was just infuriating. That's my rant.
I don't know. This movie does not make me want to go watch the um original ones. Ironically, after talking to you, I kind of want to,
Yes,
but they're at
I
least going
would
on my
very
list.
recommend the second one. I like the first one came out in 1983, I believe. I just had it pulled up, and I came out
82.
82. I'm sorry, 1982. So it is a much older movie. Um, I'm going to go back and rewatch it because it's been, like I said, a very long time since I've seen it.
So I will give this movie props. The soundtrack was real good
It's
and the visuals were real good. This is what I expect a CG animated movie to look like in the year 2025. Nothing looks so forced to look realistic that it looks more fake than ever and hyper realistic. Nothing looks so cartoony that it looks
Yeah.
like they just rushed it. The CGI looked good with the laser printing and the bikes and even the grid worlds. I especially really liked when they went into the backup server of the grid and made it look 80s. And even though it
Yes.
looked more modern because it's a new
The
movie,
original, yeah, went
it
back to the
still
original.
looked like what the original
Yes.
semblance would look like with our modern technology.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, this movie was straight ass. It was so bad. Oh my goodness. 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, that was just an awkward line delivery. And then 5 more minutes, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um,
No
the
charisma at
best
all
act,
with any of the.
yeah, the
Like,
best acting was from the villain, which Evan Peters is a great actor. He plays a great villain. Not his fault that the end of his arc was written awfully,
the
but
writing
his
sucked at the end. Like it took a nosedive for his character.
yeah,
Everything else was great. Like he did phenomenal. Like he's the
he
one
does.
good actor in this film.
Him and like the side characters, the Eve's like side buddy, the comedic relief, he didn't
Oh,
suck.
Yeah, no,
Like um
he was better than the rest of them. I wouldn't say he
yeah,
was as good, but
the
he was definitely
CTO
better.
was this like they played their characters well. I mean they didn't impact anything like their performance wasn't impacting, but it wasn't so stiff. Like they felt like living people. And then
To some degree. Like
Eve,
still some of the stuff that like they still didn't mesh well with a lot of
Eve,
those characters though.
Eve, at times felt more robotic than the actual program. Her acting, oh my goodness, I was like, well, time to watch Jared Leto, and then she just comes out of nowhere, she was so bad. Like that very end scene, just slapping that postcard. I'm like, what is this?
She made Jared
Um,
Leto look good.
yeah, she did. I thought Jared Leto could have done really good with this character if the character was written differently.
yes. Yes, he did
Um,
a good job with what he was given. I will give him
Yeah.
that. It was just so bad.
it's he could definitely have played this character really well if the character was written better.
Yes.
I was thinking a lot about the Ryan Reynolds Free Guy movie when thinking about Ares' character
Hmm.
because I think Free Guy is a very good example of a character, a artificial intelligence, AI, code character that develops humanity and personality over time as his choices are like, as he's making choices. And Ares just comes out of here out of nowhere, just being like, yes, I have opinions on 80s music now,
I
just
mean,
from like absorbing Google.
I will say Jared Leto's felt more realistic. Ryan Reynolds one for Free Guy felt more comedic, and that was
Yeah,
kind of the
but
point.
Oh, yes.
yeah, and that was my problem. It shouldn't feel real. Like you are lines of code. And artificial intelligence, yes, it
Well,
learns and it grows.
yes, it's one of
But
those things of, sorry to interrupt, but like from the first, at least from the second movie, all of those AIs 100% felt like real, genuine people that functioned and had like their own personalities and everything.
yeah,
And in this movie, they completely got rid of that.
I will
They're
say
like, they're programs. They will only act like programs, and that's it.
I, okay, Andrew, what did you think about Cal Kestis from Jedi Survivor showing up in the middle of the
what was the point? Give this man a real role. What's the point? Like this
I
man's
saw
got
that and I was
genuine
like,
skill.
I saw that and they made me do a double take. I was like, is
Yeah,
that is it?
he's got genuine skill as an actor, and you're just giving him a throwaway role. Come on.
I was like,
Um,
Andrew's gonna say something. I know it. Andrew's gonna say something.
like what are you doing? Like, oh my goodness. But my problem with Jared Leto's character is that it felt with what they established, like hard being like, you are code, you are expendable, you do as you're told. And then all of a sudden just being like, I can't put my love for Depeche Mode into words. Like, why do you have opinions now?
It's such a weird.
They didn't really explain that at all.
It didn't. I completely would understand if like Eve put on music and he's like, this is really good, and she tells him about it and like he starts to like it because of that. But then just being
Well,
like,
it was also the line when he's like saying, "Yeah, I went through, read all your personal stuff," and he's like, "Yeah, I want to know more," or something like, "What?
I
What was
can't get
the
enough.
song?"
No,
Yeah, I
he
can't
was
get
like, I
enough.
can't get enough. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, this song, I can't get enough.
I was like, that is such a bad segue into a different conversation. I'm like,
It
that
was
that's
The writing was bad, and the acting did not help the bad writing at
Right.
all.
But some of them, such as Jared Leto, did a phenomenal job with what he was given.
I
Yeah,
was more
and
so talking about like the whole thing where he kind of gets like an individuality kind of thing, and they allude to it being rain is the thing that gets
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when they
pure
have
code.
water on the in the code world, they have water there.
Yes, but it's just
It's bits of data.
cues. Yeah,
Like you are ones and zeros at the end of the day, and you're telling me that you're forming opinions on your own without any external stimulus.
If he,
It's
it
the
would be
lack of
different if
external
he was.
stimulus.
It would be different if
yeah.
he was like
They
coded to be that way and coded to kind of like think around problems and stuff
Yeah,
on his
and that's
own,
why I'm like, if you
and that
watch
maybe would have
Legacy,
worked.
yeah, if you watch Legacy, the coding in there is, or the way that AI or programs work in there are so different. They actually have personalities. They think for themselves.
Yeah.
They're
So
not
4 to 10.
forced.
So this one will
Four
be
to
a
10.
very stark contrast when
Yes.
comparing the two.
Oh yes.
Yeah. 4 to 10. Nothing about the coolest things about it were how it looked and how it sounded. Everything else was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
And they're
and
gonna make a fourth
especially
one.
with the yeah, I was about to say, especially with the end, because I don't know, they don't talk about what happened with Sam and the person he brought out. Um, since he is the son of the heir to the of Flynn, he would have been up there. They don't talk about him until the very end.
Did they ever talk about it?
With the picture, and that's it. And then also with the main villain getting his ring. It looked like it for a split second. I would have to go back and watch it. That they're trying to make him the next Tron because he had the same, pretty much same costume from the original Tron with the T on his forehead.
I did
If
notice that.
that's
Yeah.
and if that's how that's going,
The director wants to make a fourth one because they set it up, but it did not do well in the box office, and nothing's been greenlit. So there's actually a good
It's
chance that they
it's
won't.
it's
I
Disney.
don't care.
I don't they've ruined stuff for far less. Yeah,
Hey,
I
look,
don't
if Treasure Planet couldn't go through,
Please no. Please no.
yeah, disappointment. It was a terrible, terrible movie.
It was bad. It was rough. I laughed at the end, not because it was funny, but because of how bad it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
All right, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next time. We'll be watching the movie Nuremberg, starring Russell Crowe and Rami Malek. And we'll see you next time.